Good morning. Welcome to Think About It Using Common Sense. Again, in the news, I heard one of the most horrific things that you possibly could hear. And that is a young 14-year-old taking the life of a police officer and critically wounding another, upsetting not only his family, but the families of those who he so ignorant, being so ignorant and had to be uneducated, untrained, and everything to just take the life of an innocent person and wounding another. And the title of this live stream today is Where Does the Blame Really Belong? And, I'm putting the blame, parents and society plays a part. But most of all, parents should have learned something over the years. And they have to stop blaming drugs and poor environment and situations. And the leaders, the so-called religious leaders that's supposed to be preaching the word or explaining the word to people, supposed to be helping people in situations that they're in. That is the main, or was the main purpose of the church, not just to stand up and talk and collect money in a basket, but to be there to help educate and be a means uh, of help and being able to sustain and educate the people so they can survive. Excuse me. And this is part of the reason I'm saying, where did the blame really belong? This child, 14 years old, has no business picking up a gun and taking the life of an innocent man, and this man is a protector. Where's the parents? What is this child's background that led him to do such a thing? In situations like this boy is 2 years older than 12, 4 years older than 10. I don't. I'm not even going to elaborate on what he was thinking. But one thing we do know, his life is over. And the officer's life that he took is over. Their family has been distorted for, I guess, for the rest of their lives. Then you have an innocent man in the hospital fighting for his life because people are not doing what they are supposed to do. You're having these children, take care of them. If you can't afford to take care of a child and raise a child, then don't have that child. All this stuff is being done, a lot of it out of selfishness. You don't even think of what you're doing. All you want to do is just go out and have babies. I'm not saying this is the case with this, but the results is the same. There's no reason in the world why something like this should be happening in 2025. But more of it is happening today than ever before. Kids are committing what we would call an adult crime, but it's still wrong regardless. But kids, is it because we're living in a world of violence? Is it because we have no role models? Is it because violence on the screen is like dope? It's addictive. Is it because in all actuality and reality, you are a product of your environment? You're a product of what entered into your mind. You're a product of your spiritual upbringing. These are things that has to come into play. But this should not happen. This should not be happening under no circumstances. Excuse me. But it is. And it should not be happening. Parents, take care of your children, raise your children. Parents, you need two. It takes two to make a child. It takes two to raise that child. And raising a child does not just mean buying Pampers and giving them food or buying them a pair of sneakers. That is not raising a child. But that seems to be the norm today among so many people. When I heard that, it just ripped me apart. For the officers that lost his life, the other officers in critical condition in the hospital because of a 14-year-old kid. There's someone responsible for this. And not just only in this situation, but in all situations pertaining to children. Parents being on dope, or I'm not saying this is the case, mind you, but I'm just saying these are excuses of the child's environment, the child's upbringing. You know, it doesn't take a lot of money to be clean, to have a roof over your head, to love your child, and see to it that this child get the best education he or she can. This is not being done. There's no truth among people today. People today could care less about anything. And all these ministers we have today that's out here preaching and jumping up and down on the stages and saying this and saying that and rich, millions upon millions of dollars. It's not the purpose of religion, people. I think we all know right from wrong. You should. But then you have people from the top all the way down to the bottom breaking the law. And then the hypocrisy that's being spreaded. It just boggles my mind. I can't even stand to listen to it, to be honest with you. Politicians be saying this is wrong, that's wrong, this is wrong. This person's stealing, that person is stealing. But guess what? The politicians are doing the same thing. No one should be above the law. And there are laws. Well, they're man-made laws, but they are definitely universal laws, God laws. Nobody goes to jail when you're studying and learning and practicing the laws of God or the laws of the Creator or the laws of the universe, whatever you want to call it. And we can see that man-made laws is not strong enough to sustain anything, but only for a while. The civilization is just gone. We see it falling every day. the leaders flip-flopping. They're liars. You can't believe them. What is it when you have your leaders are lying to the people? People, these are the effects of what we are doing. We have no one to blame but ourselves. So I guess when I said, where does the blame really belong? The blame belongs with us, the inhabitants of this earth, and the leaders, the people that's representing the rules of laws, which they themselves do not obey. It's terrible. It's a terrible, terrible, terrible thing. And to change the subject just a little bit, when they talk about the problems that we are having, people are going through, our values, as we can see, if people could take the time to open their eyes and see, we are a product of what is in our mind, and we are a product of our ability to understand and interpret what we are seeing. And in doing so, our actions are manifesting what is inside of our minds. How do we see things? How do we view things? But when you really sit back and ask yourself, what do you really know? And where does that knowledge come from? They are seeds that have been planted into your mind. Because in all actuality, what do you really know if you haven't experienced it? And that's the problem. People lock themselves in a little box and they think they know everything. But in reality, you only know what's in that box. That's all. That's all you know. And people above you, or people that are in the know, realize that this is all you know. Therefore, you are easily swayed. You're easily led. And you are steered in a path of mixed direction. Meaning that you are swayed over here when something over here on the other side is being done. And you need to also value yourselves. You have to value yourselves and you value life. Because this is all you have in this world. We need money to live. But at the end of the day, that's not what's been put before us as heaven on earth. Because in all actuality, people, there is no heaven on earth. If you look to material things for you to truly be happy, then you're lost. You're lost. Just think about it for a second. Love of your family, love of the planet, the love of nature. People, these things don't cost money, but they are most important of all. And to love yourself means that when you really, truly love yourself, you will inspect all things that enter into your mind, your body, your environment. And in doing that, you will also respect and love people. Because that's where love comes from. But you don't even have an idea of what you are missing when you separate yourselves from others. We don't live by bread alone, as being stated. We live by people, by helping one another. You don't have to necessarily sit at everybody's table or that, but you know what I find? One thing that is always respected, I don't care what, even more so than having wealth, material wealth, knowledge. Knowledge is respected. That's why I became a philosopher. I saw that to live my life and put all my life, all my energy and time away from family and just to acquire wealth. Now, I saw that at a very young age. Do we need it? Yes. You work, you hear people on sometime these advertisements on television telling people about loans. Oh, if you need money, take out loans and do this so you can have money to pay your doctor bills. Instead of saying at a young age, eat properly so you will not be sick in your old age. It's the environment, it's the soil that the seed is planted in determines the quality of fruit. Just that simple. It's not complicated. And people stand up here telling you, oh, do this, and just pray for it. It's going to be fine. Everything's going to be fine. People, you have to do something. Prayer is the open door to spirituality. Prayer is the open door to your God. They get the energy. But when you pray, you're praying to God, but at the same time, you're praying to yourselves for strength. And when you believe in that strength, as it said, and have faith in it, then what you think of can come to fruition. Jesus, a prophet, said, the faith the size of a mustard seed. You can say to yonder mountain, move, and that mountain will move. That's the faith, the belief that you have in yourself, the belief that you have over your body, that you can control. You will never have faith, or you will never be strong if you're always looking for an outside source for your strength. Just making your body weaker. And when time is you need strength from your body to accomplish great things, you won't have it. Test your body. Sometimes in hardship can be the best thing for you. Makes you strong, makes you unite. That's why our president, excuse me, my nose itch. That's why our president was talking about tariffs, which he quickly backed down. Because tariffs, you're going to have to pay for it. If you're raising taxes on goods coming within the country, who's going to pay for it? You are. The only people that's making money is the people at the top that manufacturing these things. That's going to require you to buy goods made here as opposed to goods that would normally come in that would be cheaper. When they raise tariffs, those goods would be more expensive than the goods made in the country. You know what I'm saying? Even though they still high price, but they would be cheaper than the ones coming in. So these would be the only goods you can buy. So you suffer. You suffer. And these people that he put the tariffs on, they're going to find a solution. But guess what? We can work outside of this. We can work among ourselves. And guess what? We will survive. And at the end of the day, it's about survival. And who will suffer? The people here will suffer. Because prices will only go up, up, up. And technology, AI, is relieving you of your job. So now how will you live? How will the business people make their money? Do you understand, people? You better wake up. I'm telling you this because if you don't do something, you're not going to make it. Even if it's 30 years from now, it's going to fall. You're just delaying. He said, I'm going to give you 30 years. I'm going to give you 30 days to prepare for the tariffs. I don't know how many years you have to prepare for what's coming down the pipe. Rich people don't suffer. Rich people don't see inflation. Rich people don't feel hunger. They don't feel anything. But they do think they're going to survive. They want to live forever with all this wealth. Who wants to give it up? Common sense. But you're giving it up because you cannot interfere with the life stream, how things is made, how we are made. You can't take out a human heart, put in a mechanical heart. Will you live? Yes. But what does that do to your consciousness? It's not the same body. You understand? Every time you interfere with the way things are, you create a change. You're too quick to accept something as a cure, as a temporary cure that you don't even know the outcome of. This thing could lay dormant in your system for 50 years. And all of a sudden it sprouts back. Now you done created something that you can't control. That's why it's so important to rely on your body, rely on your mind, love yourself, find the right things to eat. You know what you have to do. You need exercise. We walk on concrete. Everything we walk on is concrete. Our body, we wasn't originated to walk on concrete. So do you think that might have something to do with arthritis? That's why the sneakers were so popular. Cushion, that cushion. That's why. The air that we breathe, oh my goodness. You get the majority of your nourishment for your body comes from the air that you breathe. What is this mess we're breathing? Then you wonder why we have this, we have that, we have this. Chemicals we put in food, we have this, we have that. All that stuff is reactions that the body is reacting to. And we still manage to live 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 years old with all this garbage. So can you imagine what energy and what power we have within us if we could just focus on it? People, we are a blessing. All humans, we are all human for a reason. But all actuality, we are we are resulting back to being animals. Look at us. We live in, everything is burglar alarms and bars. And we have to be protected from one another. We don't know anything about treat your fellow man, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. We don't know nothing about that. We'll preach it. They don't do it. I saw a man from the Navy walking the street out there with a sign saying he was hungry. How can a person, a military person in this country, walk out with a sign in the street saying they're hungry? Shameful. This is shameful on the country to allow their military personnel to be doing this. But then some people that's never even seen the military, draft dodgers in government running the country, and then threaten to take benefits away from veterans. And the people don't get upset about it. But now they're coming after you. Now you're upset. you're taken to the street. This is only the beginning. It's only the beginning. And people, we have to start. We have to start looking out for one another, not just ourselves, but for one another. You know, people help. Incident happened the other day. A lady hired this. She was working and got this other woman a job, and the other woman got a job above her, and forgot that if it wasn't for the woman that put her in the position that she was in, she wouldn't have anything. And don't you know the woman that she put in position to do something was paid this woman $7 an hour to do work, and she was getting like $40 an hour, something like that. I don't understand this, you know. And really, and just to make the thing clear, this was someone of color, people of color, you know. And it's a reason. I look at it all the time. It's a reason, more than one reason, should I say, that people of color, Black Americans, are in the situation that they're in. We need to stop thinking about it. Stop pointing fingers. Because I don't even think you have enough fingers to do the pointing at one another, each other. Take a look at yourself. You know, it's an old saying, when you're in Rome, do as Romans do. We live in a system where you're dealing with people, you know, and there's say, for example, there's ways, dress codes that you do to go in to get a job, or dress codes that you need to go into certain restaurants and just certain stores and different places. Then follow those codes. You walk in there looking any way you want. Sure, the law says you can come in, but you walking in looking any old kind of way you want to look and think you're supposed to be accepted and respected. You might be respected as a human, but I have a business to run. You have to conform. And then once you get what you want to get, then go home, change into whatever you want to change into, and do whatever you want to do. But when you're dealing in public, people have their rules and regulations. You know, don't right now we have become so, people of color here in America, the American Negro, you know, has a reputation of being rowdy. No one wants to be around you. No one wants you in their business. And I mean, I've heard that. I've heard that. A friend of mine, you know, yeah, people may not like what I'm saying, but once you get to know people, to get down, you're honest about things. You're honest and open. But nowadays, you don't know how to talk to people. They can't handle the truth. You know, if you say the wrong thing, you got to go look over your shoulder every time you walk out in the street. But all this stuff is brought on us by us. When I'm saying us, all of us. Yeah. And have we been used, abused, sure. So what you can do, go through your whole life. It happened. You understand? There's nothing you could do about it. Things happen to people all over the world. And they survive. But here in this country, we had a chance to survive, to get access to things. You wasted, you blew it. And you got a few that get ahead, and all they want to do is come back down and charge their own triple, quadruple, do half work. It happened to me. Do you understand? We got to stop pointing the fingers. Just respect. I find that you get respect, You get respect from anybody if you're respectable. Everybody ain't guaranteed have to like you. That's okay. But guess what? They don't feed me. They don't pay my bills. They don't do this. But you know, I answer to, I realize that this point in time and where we are and what we are and what we look like, this isn't the end. That's the reason we are who we are, so we can gain knowledge for what's to come. And you reap what you sow. That ain't words that just put out here just to say something. Those are valuable words. It's a valuable lesson. How can you live in a universe that's governed by laws to think you can do anything you want to do and you don't have to answer for it? That, to me, that's one of the most stupidest things I've ever heard. But you don't believe it. You don't believe it. You know? And that's why you do what you do, because if you was a believer, you wouldn't be doing it. Because it's going to come back to you. You know? I know one thing. I mean, there's so much terrible stuff going on right now today to animals and stuff. It's just terrible what happens. So that's a lot to think about. But as far as where the blame belongs, the blame belongs with us. And we need to come together as a people and work this thing out. Hold our politicians, hold these politicians, hold that nose to the ground. If they come in, they take a job, do your job. If you don't do your job, guess what? You're fired. If you're a politician doing your job, you shouldn't even your name should not even come up in the mention of people doing wrong things, indictments and all this kind of crap. If that does, then you got to leave office until this mess is straightened out. You have to sit up here and still get a paycheck and this and that, and you being indicted. You got court dates and all this stuff, and you're supposed to be a politician, an honest politician that's running a country or a city or a state, whatever. People, that's stupid. But this is what you get when you do that kind of stuff. So where does the blame belong? No, politician, if he can keep his job and do what he do, guess what? He's going to keep his job and keep doing what he's doing. No. And you got to be mindful. You got to be mindful of what's happening, because it affects you, your children, their children, their children, their children, maybe for the next 100 years. But the foundation is going to determine what fruit is being bared from this tree of civilization. And right now, it doesn't look good. It looks very, very bad. And we don't even think about climate. I was in New York the other day, and I'm looking at the water. I'm telling you, I looked out there and saw all that water, and the water looked like it was right up near the street. Looked like it could be flooded out at any minute. That's what it looked to me. With the poles rising, water melting. Hey, it's inevitable. It's inevitable. We don't know what's going on. These people sending all these rockets up into outer space. What about the pollution? What's happening up there? What if they create something? What if they create something and ignite the atmosphere or something? Who's going to put that out? They can go. They safe in outer space. We don't know what they done built out there, but we know they don't need cows, they don't need chicken, they don't need fish. They got food. They can make that in the laboratory. They can eat. You understand? But what can we do? We need to start preparing for something like this. We as a people need to start thinking about, you know, creating an economy within an economy that connects to the economy. Because we got to look out for ourselves. They don't look out for us. I heard uh, what's the guy that's in charge of Facebook built a $470 million bunker in Hawaii. That just happened to leak out, but I'm sure all of these other people got bunkers that if something happened, they can go into. Where can we go? And yet we let them just do whatever they want to do. But our lives is in jeopardy. And you need this time. If you haven't found the purpose or the meaning, the true meaning of life, if you haven't found it, then you need time. You need time to find that. Because when this physical body ceases to exist and you don't have a captain of your ship direction knowing where you're going, people no telling what you might wind up in. But one thing is for sure, you won't wind up like this. You won't wind up in this environment. That's for sure. And AI is like committing suicide. For you people to go along with all these robotics and stuff that's taking place, it's only to get rid of you. So anyway, thank you very much, very, very much. Have a great day.